A24 has finally achieved peak A24-ness, and I'm not sure that's a compliment. Mother Mary is a film that demands you treat a pop star schedule with the same religious reverence as a medieval knight's quest, but by the second hour, you'll be praying for the credits to roll. It is a gorgeous, impeccably acted exercise in cinematic patience that eventually collapses under the weight of its own ego. If you thought a ghost story was slow because of the sheet, wait until you see the pacing issues hidden behind a sequin leotard. Now, this movie feels like a stage play, and I wasn't really expecting that. And that's not a knock against it, because I love movies that were like that were kind of like a stage play, like Bug or, say, The Hateful Eight. And despite the global setting, it does feel claustrophobic, and even in the mundane settings, Lowery knows how to shoot a shot. And at times it does have that black box theater energy that's pretty intense, where every conversation feels like it's being whispered for an audience of scholars and not people. But, I mean, this is A24, and there is a sort of pretension to A24. I love A24. I love the pretentious stuff. But this was way too much. It's pretentiousness overload here. It's not just indie. It's like I'm wearing a turtleneck to a sauna level of self-importance. It's mind-boggling. Like Lowery did with The Green Knight, there are some incredible looking shots, but holy shit, is this a slow-ass movie. And I don't mind a slow movie. This was like bordering on torturous for me. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly acted too, and it looks like a masterpiece, but the movie moves like a glacier with a head injury. But what's the movie about? We followed the titular Mother Mary, played by a career best almost, I think, by Anne Hathaway, a pop icon whose fame has reached a literal god complex stratosphere. She's trapped in the bus club plane repeat cycle of a global tour, a lifestyle that feels less like a dream and more like a haunting. She seeks out her former fashion designer, Sam Anselm, played by Michaela Coel, where they clash over misdeeds from the past. Kind of shifts the film from a price of fame drama to a sort of a psychosexual power struggle, with a little horror and haunting mixed in there. It's like a world of high fashion armor, stadium sized loneliness, and creative obsession that threatens to erase the actual humans behind the icons. Now, David Lowery commented on this as being like Taylor Swift in 15 years. It frames the film as like a look at the era's sort of exhaustion, the bus, the club, playing no sleep grind. And I can see where he's coming from with that. Mother Mary, played by Anne Hathaway, seems like the end of her rope. And the marketing is kind of weird with this. It's like, it's not a ghost story marketing. And I think Lowery is sort of trolling us a little bit with this. You have that sheet, that red sheet represents a ghost, Everything's a metaphor. But the film is haunted by legacy and ego. And you have actual singers in this. You got Jack Antonoff and Charlie XCX. They created some music and even show up in the film. And the music they created is authentic pop, which is a weird contrast to like the tone of the film. It's like a dour drama, and then you get hit with these like this pop music out of nowhere. It's like, what? I don't know. It's supposed to be contrast, but I don't know. It felt weird to me. Now, I said Anne Hathaway was great in this. Michaela Coel is phenomenal. And I've been a fan of hers in everything she's in. The first thing I watched of her was the HBO miniseries I May Destroy You, and that led me to checking out her previous series, Chewing Gum. And it really shows her range. And I think she's in The Christophers or The Two Christophers or something that's out now. I might have to go see that. Hopefully it's better than this. But, I mean, not only does she hold her own against Hathaway, I think she blows Hathaway out of the water in a lot of the scenes. And I gotta give Lowery his flowers for the visuals. Even a warehouse scene looks like a painting in this. That A24 alumni DNA. Every frame is intentional. But the pacing, holy shit. This is where I have to get honest. The pacing isn't just slow, it's kind of painful. We're talking about an hour and 50-minute movie, and I was looking at my watch several times during this. It feels like a stage play that basically refuses to end.
The eating of an orange is a lot like a good marriage. Just eat the damn oranges!
Like I said, I like the stage play movies. I like the simplification of that. But it seemed that the longer further into the movie we got along, it was going slower. Like Michaela Coel was saying her lines even slower. I'm like, get me out of here. I mean, it starts out pretty poppy. You're kind of wondering where it's going. Then you have these intense scenes with Anne Hathaway and Michaela Coel, and it's like, all right, okay. And the scene keeps going and kept going and kept going and kept going in the same area with no other characters. And then 45 minutes, we go to another scene. And guess what? They keep talking into another time. I don't know. This is peak pretentiousness. I'm sorry. Like, even for A24, the pretentiousness of this film is off the charts. I think it leans so hard into like the allegories and the metaphors and the high art of it that it really does become unbearable. Then there's the ghost element. It's not a ghost story, but there is sort of a horror-ish element to it where, there's a little bit of blood, there's a little bit of slicing, then a ghost shows up and it's, a fucking metaphor, I guess. I was sitting there in the theater and during that last part, I I just had this unbearable cringe feeling. I can't explain it. It's not the bad acting cringe. It's like I just wanted to crawl out of my skin due to the scene. That's not intentional. I don't see that as intentional. It's not like watching Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I want to crawl out of my skin because that was graphic. No, it's like I don't know. Like the pretentiousness has just made me just cringe so hard in this movie. I don't think I've experienced this in a while.
You know what? No.
Now, I want to talk about the ending. I want to kind of include an ending explained, so you can skip down to the chapter below to my overall thoughts and score. But if you don't care to get spoiled or just want to see my take on the ending, continue to watch. So the finale of Mother Mary is a surreal psychological crescendo that swaps a literal plot resolution for, you guessed it, abstract symbolism. The ending is ambiguous by design. Lowery frames the climax not as like a career comeback, but like sort of a internal exorcism. So the red spirit, the film's most haunting metaphor, while it first appears as a supernatural entity that caused Mary's near-death stage fall, the ending reveals it to be a manifestation of shared emotional anguish. So I was reading on this, and David Lowery described it as the negative energy that passes between people in intense creative and fractured relationships. It represents the bad blood between Mary, Anne Hathaway, and Sam, Michaela Coel, the pain of Sam being discarded and the weight of the persona Mary felt forced to inhabit. So in the final act, there's like this exorcism in Sam's workshop. It's supposed to be the emotional peak of the film, and this is where I kind of cringed. When Mary literally cuts the spirit out of her chest, it transforms into a blood red fabric that we saw in previous flashbacks. So I guess the symbolism here is Sam uses this ghost fabric to create Mary's final performance dress. So that suggests that Mary's public persona, the Mother Mary the world loves, is literally built out of her private pain and her history with Sam. So the dress is a shared burden. It acknowledges that Mary cannot exist as an icon without the creative and maybe destructive input of Sam. So the film's closing sequence, it's Mary's performance of her song Spooky Action, is where the line between reality and performance completely dissolves. So, I mean, from what I read, there are viewers who initially think Mary is sacrificing herself for fame. I guess the ending leans more toward identity. By the final frame, the audience disappears and the stage becomes a void where only Mary and Sam exist. Mary stops fighting the Mother Mary persona. She doesn't find her true self in a traditional way. Instead, she accepts that she is both the artist and the artwork. She integrates her public image with her private trauma rather than trying to keep them separate. Okay. So I guess the ending's supposed to be bittersweet. While they find a moment of creative catharsis through the creation of the dress and the apology Mary offers, they do not necessarily end up together. The film suggests that they are permanently linked by what they created, but their personal relationship remains fractured. They find peace not by fixing the past, but by finally acknowledging the blood they spilled to create the icon the world sees. So, I mean, bottom line, the ending suggests that you don't escape your image or the past, you learn to wear them. Ta-da! So if it's a victory or a tragedy, I guess it's just up to the viewer. That's my take on it. If you have a different take, let me know down in the comments below. So what are some of the themes with it? Like, I think it draws a direct parallel between the devotion of a religion congregation and the fervor of modern fandom. Also, the loss of the private self, maybe. Then there's the crux of the movie, the relationship between Mary and Sam. It's like the parasitic nature of inspiration. It kind of explores, and this is the kind of interesting part of it. It explores like how artists use their personal trauma and the trauma of those they love as material for their next masterpiece, and maybe some of the industrialization of art. And of course, the Red Spirit explores the lingering energy of past relationships. Not a ghost story, sorry. So who is Mother Mary actually for? I'd say if you're a David Lowery completionist or the kind of person who finds a 3-minute shot of a warehouse wall transformative, you'll find something to chew on here. It's for the audience that wants their pulp culture served with the side of existential dread and high fashion theory. But if you're looking for a pop star movie with the energy of a concert film or even the narrative momentum of a standard drama, I would stay away from this. This is what I would say is a psychosexual opera that forgot to include a hook. And it breaks my heart to say it because the ingredients are top tier. Anne Hathaway and Michaela Coel are giving powerhouse performances that belong in a much better paced movie. And Lowery's eye is as sharp as ever. The film is undeniably gorgeous. But beauty only gets you so far when the experience of watching it feels like a marathon in wet denim. It's self-indulgent to a fault, trading genuine emotional resonance for a brand of A24 pretentiousness. And it's even bad for A24. That feels like a parody more than a vision. I respect the ambition, I adore the cast, but I cannot recommend a film that feels like this much of a chore to finish. So I'm giving Mother Mary a 2 out of 5. In the battle of David Lowery and the audience's attention span, I think the Glacial won. But did you see Mother Mary? What did you think? Let me know down in the comments below. You can tear me apart or try to change my mind. YouTube thinks you'll like one of these other videos by my head, and I'll see you next time.